When you hear the two words summer reading, it might make you break out into hives and go into super flashback trauma mode. I know that summer reading has gotten out of control in terms of what we value and who's in charge and who's doing it, who's it for. There are a lot of questions about whether or not it's actually effective or even worth trying to rescue. I do believe that there is a way to rescue summer reading, and not just because we should. I know that with the summer slide and all of the work that we do to grow our students throughout the school year, the heartbreak that comes with knowing how much is lost, especially from our low economic students. We had got to come up with some creative solutions to make summer reading happen again, but happen in a way that is truly positive, authentic, fun, and engaging. I've got a webinar for you that I'd love to share. I also dropped 2 episodes about summer reading that you can listen to on the podcast. Head to bravenewteaching.com/summer reading to get all your freebie goodies, watch the webinar, and give summer reading another shot. This is one that you're going to want to watch with your teacher bestie or maybe even your team. If you're ready to take the next step, give me a call, give me a jingle, let's plan it together, or just send me a message on Instagram. Head to bravenewteaching.com/summer reading to get that kickstart you need to make summer reading fun and awesome. One more time.
Well, hello and welcome back to Brave New Teaching, and welcome to the worst things you can do at the end of the school year. Hi, Amanda.
The worst.
The worst.
Hello.
No, listen. Today, here's what we want to do, son.
We're going to trash everyone's end of the year plans.
Here, because I am right there with you, friends. I am in it. We are in this together. I am constantly, I'm not going to lie, the number of times that I turn to my co-teacher and I'm like, do you know how lucky we are to be teaching second term juniors? Because they are the best. I will go down swinging on this one. Second term juniors are the best age to teach.
They have the most to look forward to.
They have the most to look forward to. They have the most at stake. They have, there's just, and they get it. And when even they are acting foolish, I'm like, okay, all right, it's the end. We're done now. But I look around the hallway and I'm like, all of these 9th, 10th, and 12th grade teachers are woof. Whew, they're in it right now. And so some of the choices that even I have made, and I know you, Amanda, have made in the past of you know what, it'll be great. Oh, it's the end of the year. We'll just do something, yada, yada. And yada, yada goes bang, boom, explosion, shrapnel. It's so bad. Let's talk about that today. Not just the worst things that you could do, but how to make them better.
And quickly, I'm going to go to bat for second term sophomores for a second.
You know what? They are a very close second. Second term sophomores are a very close second. Yes.
There is a massive jump that happens right around March, April with that group.
Yes.
That they just kind of all click into not being freshmen anymore. Because freshman year is a solid 2 years long almost.
No, it really is though. It's at least a year and a half. Yes. It's rough.
Well, and we'll talk about this more too, but I feel like especially if they're working towards something that makes them feel important, they totally lean into that I'm mature energy, which I'm here for.
And just the sense of independence of just understanding how it works.
We were here to warn you, though. Tread lightly. Everything is there are lots of things that we recommend all year long, but we might pump the brakes in May.
No, we're gonna trash them. Yes, it's time to trash it because I've done all of these things and learned from my mistakes. Live to tell the tale, you know. So I feel like this episode, I just want to be here's the mistake, here's how it goes wrong, here's how to fix it. Boom, boom, boom. Go along your merry way.
And go into the show notes to see our recommendations for a lot of those fixes, because we're going to link everything we can that would help you do a different,
the specifics of how. Yes.
Exactly. We'll link that all for you in the show notes.
All right, we are off to the races, but first, cue the music.
You're listening to Brave New Teaching, and we are so much more than a podcast.
We give teachers the inspiration, support, and tools to challenge the status quo.
I'm Amanda, and I'm a former English teacher from Illinois.
And I'm Marie, and I'm a high school teacher from Southern California.
Join us after the show and happy hour to extend your BNT experience with instant access to our resources, workshops, and courses.
Visit shop.bravenewteaching.com/happy hour to join us today. We're so glad you're here. Enjoy the show. All right, friends, before we start getting into bashing all of some of our favorite ideas and saying why they're so terrible for this point of the school year, again, we say this with love because we have done all of these things more times than we should have. Like, I should have learned my lesson on a few of these way sooner than I have. But it just sounds like such a good idea. And then you get into it and you're like, this was a terrible idea. Before we get there, we want to remind you that our third year of Camp Brave New Teaching is coming, and talk about learning from past experiences. We are so excited because this is a big, huge summer book club.
Yes.
Join us for Camp Brave New Teaching 2025 because we have so many authors that we are talking to. We are talking about their books, many of which are new releases, many of which are just going to absolutely captivate you and then also your students. And we are so excited to just read and talk about books and hang out in a very low pressure, high enjoyment climate.
And if you are not already following us on Instagram, head over to Instagram. We have been dropping hints about the authors that are joining us, and we would love to hear your guesses. And then even if you don't want to guess, come be with us because on May 1st, which is next Thursday, we are going to reveal the lineup and open registration for camp. So we want to make sure that you're in on that early registration. We're going to have some freebies and some goodies to share with you. And I am really excited to see if anybody guesses correctly.
I know. I'm interested too. Well, because some of these authors are definitely people that you already have in your classroom. And that's what's exciting.
About on the podcast.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Oh, and this is free. Camp, bravenewteaching.com/camp. It is totally free because it is a summer teacher, educator, education adjacent book club. Hang out with us. Join us in the Facebook group where we can chit chat about all of these books and all of the other things that you're reading, or listening to, or however it is that you're reading these. Now, shall we jump into the worst things that you can do at the end of the school year?
We can. We should.
The caveat of, again, go to the show notes because we'll have more specifics as to how to make these work. Yeah. Amanda, do you want to get us started?
I can't. Well, I think this is kind of my fault because
This is your idea.
This was my idea. I had one of these falling asleep at night, delirious ideas. Oh my gosh, this is a terrible idea, but a good idea for a podcast episode.
Yeah.
And I think I'm sure I was scrolling Facebook or Instagram or something that I shouldn't have been doing before I went to bed. And I was thinking about this assignment that was so deceptively cool.
Yeah.
So has anyone ever tried, you're all going to answer me, Marie, anyone else who's listening, there's this amazing assignment that I've seen circulating where you ask students to create a tattoo.
Oh, yes.
For a protagonist or maybe it's your antagonist. Maybe
for a character. Yeah.
It's for a character.
Body art for a character.
Body art for a character. And the whole gist is symbolism.
Yes.
I was thinking about this, falling asleep and realizing this is a terrible assignment. And
so simply the way that it's gone the worst for me is the number of hand-drawn nipples that I have been visually accosted with.
I didn't even think about that.
Oh, mine has gone off the rails with just what body parts they're designing the body art for, because end of the school year, our sweet little cherubs get real brazen. And I have just seen
they're not, no.
So many of the, what's it called? On a dude, the V muscles, where I'm what are you drawing right now? And the kid's what?
Huh?
I'm what do you mean? What?
This is weird.
Why are those nipples so detailed?
Oh my God. That was never something that was even on my mind. But you have now been warned about something that you may not have considered. Now you're considering it and you're like, oh my gosh.
It can't just be me. I cannot be the only one with the detailed...
No way. I'm sure people are going to DM you and be like, you're not alone.
Areolas coming across. Yes, there's no way.
So many hairy nipples. or write the questions of like, well, where can I put it? Like,
Right. And I'm like, on your paper? And then I go, oh, that's what you're asking me?
so, okay. So there's that. The other issue that I have run into with assignments like this and assignments, similar types of assignments, let's
Mhm.
just call it a one pager, right? Like
Sure.
one open ended one pager prompts, whether it's create a tattoo, it's design a billboard, or what. Okay. These assignments almost always end up in the gutter because number one, 98% of my kids can't draw. Okay. So that's their
Sure.
first excuse to disengage.
Right.
Second problem is when you come up with this like list of criteria, that's fine, but that also just kind of counteracted the whole magic you were going for,
Mhm.
right? Like if you were just like if you're like design from scratch this X, Y, and Z thing, the whole idea was to have them be incredibly original. It's just really hard to find that balance between like being original without having to like pull on the lackluster actual creative design talent of any of your students.
Sure. Well, because you're going to have the token few who are like, this
Oh,
is what I've been waiting for my entire educational career. This
correct.
is my moment to shine. But
And they're
then
going to be
those poor
amazing.
kids never finish
They never finish, or it's
because they're
completely,
just working so hard on it. They never finish.
or right, like let's say they're doing Gatsby and they're going to do Daisy's tattoo, and it's a super intricate daisy.
Yes.
And you're like, this is beautiful. But where's the layers?
Yes. And I'm so glad that you got that out of it.
And so herein lies the issue, right? Is navigating the expectations of the result becomes very murky. And all of a sudden, this like open-ended, fun, creative, artistic project becomes something that you now have like 40 bajillion fires to put out that
Yes.
you never wanted to put out. You just wanted
Right.
to have fun.
So I have my ways of like this specific
Yes.
type of a thing that can mitigate a lot of that anxiety. And it, for me, it's building it all one step at a time. Like, so if you're going to do something like this, it can't, I know you're tired because I am too,
Yep.
but you still have to keep a tight hold on the reins.
Yep.
That's actually all of these is keeping a tight hold on the reins. So, okay, let's take the tattoo idea. Yes, design a tattoo. Absolutely. But like you give it to them in 4 steps. Step 1, what is the outline of the shape of the tattoo? Step 2, what is that? Whatever. Step 3, what is the writing in it? Step 4, add more detail. Like it has to be one layer at a time to keep the kids who are absolutely shutting down from shutting down and the kids who will go too far and then never be able to finish from like going off the rails.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you going to say though? How do you mitigate a lot of this?
Almost identical, except I would add know what you're assessing.
Yes. Yes. What am I looking for? Yes.
Know what you're assessing, because I would probably not grade the tattoo at all. I would grade, right, the prep that they're going to do before those 4 days of work. We would have a brainstorming session, whether it's like seminar style or small groups. And the goal is to address the prompt, right? There needs to be a really good prompt. The prompt is where I think you need to do the most work in being very clear about what you're actually asking. It's not just design a tattoo for a character, it's design the tattoo that Daisy gets once she breaks up with Tom.
Yes. It's specificity.
Yes,
Yes.
specificity, we need to really narrow down the prompt. And that goes for, like I said, a lot of the other things we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
The more narrow your prompt can be, the better the results will be
Yes.
because kids will have to address every part of the prompt. So I would grade their brainstorming session, and then I would grade their presentation of the final product or a written something about the final product. And I would
Mhm.
only grade those 2 pieces because I really do want the during to be creative, free,
Yeah.
open, and like
Credit, no credit. Did you do
structured.
something?
Correct. So that
Yep.
that that is the big rescue for anything one page or open ended is the prep, the reflection results that you're going to score, and
Right.
then
The
the
rationale. Yeah.
of those days have to have start time, end time, work time, stop time, all timed. It's better for everyone.
Yes. It keeps us all accountable.
And actually, like Maria said, like your tired will just be different. So even though you're tired, know that a day of absent-minded work time will not
Oh
relax you.
gosh, it's so much worse. Oh, it's like trying to do a movie day.
It will not
No,
relax you.
please.
Those results will not happen.
Yeah, no, please, no. I can't. Oh gosh, no.
Just kind of like when we talk about like reading sprints, like they need set time frames to
Yeah,
do specific tasks. And if a handful of kids do it a little bit differently, no big deal. But if
right.
you are right, the reins are in the right place, you're all gonna feel better
It just
about.
needs to be digestible. Yeah. I mean, and this kind of takes me to like, that is more of like the creative visual project.
Yep,
I think of creative writing in the exact same way,
me
in
too.
that I think creative writing is great to have towards the end of the school year. Absolutely. But if you just say, write a story.
Create a book of poems that were share all
Yeah,
about you.
I know. What I would do is say, write a script in no more than 2 pages, in no more than 3 pages,
Yeah,
that includes these 2 lines in it. One's on the second page, one's on the third page, and begins with this word. And then they go from there. Like
challenge
just
it.
those tiny little tweaks, or like, look at this photograph of a window. Write 5 words that somebody sees out the window. Now pick 2 of those words, and those have to be in the first sentence of your story. Go.
Same thing for poetry. This is the time of
Parameters.
year
Yes.
that we do form poetry.
Yes.
Really strict rules that are ridiculous. Have your kids write a villanelle, a sestina, have them write a sonnet, have them write really structured
Yeah.
form poetry because then it feels like a game.
The other layer to add on to this, to assuage some of the just nervous issues of the pressure of being creative, is to say, I want you to make it bad.
Yeah.
Make
I
it
love
bad.
that.
Make it
Yes.
terrible.
And then
And then it's
hand it off
more
to someone
fun,
else. Someone else has to read it.
and make it worse.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's great. And it's fun.
It's fun. All of these conditions are like exactly what we were saying with like a specific prompt. The more rules and restrictions and seemingly far left field things that we're adding is number one, that's going to do a lot for engagement because you have to pay attention to fit those rules, to follow
Mhm.
those rules. Number two, it releases that sense of vulnerability. Like you can
Yes.
blame the rules for something being bad, or you can just tell them to make it bad. This is consistently best advice for creatives. Like this is exactly what we went through in college
Oh,
when I was in
absolutely.
my poetry classes. This is how I was taught was start with this incredibly narrow, ridiculous prompt. Look at the result of what you did when you were forced into something and then create the poem out of that first draft that you really want. I found some of my best writing and my most like poignant lines that I've ever written have come from a set of very bizarre rules I had to follow.
Of insanely strict guidelines. Exactly.
That's probably that applies to theater too, yeah?
Oh, the worst things I've ever created had no guide.
Yeah, exactly, right?
The best things I've ever created were hard, in that, like, it had a set amount of parameters, and then I had to work within those. Yes. It forces the creativity out of you. It's a pressure cooker versus just like, let's see.
I think what helps with this project too, with creative writing specifically is having a date where the kids are sharing.
Yeah.
Like anything you can do at the end of the year, and we'll talk about this a little bit more with our next topic. We're going to talk about research. I think anything you can do to like shift. You think now, like we're like mid-April. Now is when you stop collecting anything written for the
Hmm.
most part. Now is when kids are jumping into seminar, they're presenting, they're
Yeah.
debating, and everything is them completely and totally owning their work in front of their peers
As much as you can. Yeah.
as much as you can, right? There are definitely other things, but I wouldn't give yourself any extra
Yeah.
at this point. Like that, if you have choices to make and you can go that direction, how can kids own, right? Especially if they're going to do something creative, they're going to own that knowing that it's going to be shared. And they don't even need to share a lot of it. My best go to with creative writing is share your first line or your best line
Yeah.
And then we whip around the room sharing just one line. And then if you want something more cumulative, is having a seminar that's a reflection, right? Reflecting on your process, like where I started, where I came.
Yeah. I like to ask like what went well and what was hard.
Yeah.
What do you
And then
like most?
sharing
Yeah.
if they
What do you
want.
hate? Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so powerful. It's the end of the year. They should be reflecting on how far they've come.
Yeah.
So I would do that for sure.
For sure.
That's
Okay.
so good.
Let's talk about.
I'm gonna link to. I have you were reminding me of it. I have a writing countdown
Oh,
project
yeah,
I'm
you
giving
do.
my kids.
Yeah.
It's a class story. I give
Yes.
them like a class prompt, and then each day, like we're counting down, they get 6 new words, and they have to add it to their story.
That's so
And so
fun.
it's like for bell work.
Yeah.
So everyone's writing a bell work
I
story
should do
about
that.
like,
Actually, I have a couple of really fun classes right now that I should do
yeah,
that with.
it's so easy. Like you just get, I forget what the prompt is I have for the end of the year, but it's like, yeah, there's a lady found a stray cat, and that's your everyone has the same first line. And then every day you get 6 new words to add to your story. And then that's it. And they just write for 5 to 7 minutes. And then that's that. And then by the end, everyone has a whole story. And
Right.
they all
That's
started the same way.
generally unhinged. Yes.
Correct. Oh, they are weird.
I love it. Okay, let's talk about research. Let's send our friends home with research.
Yes.
So I dug into the whole idea years ago of a passion project for kids. I think a passion project. Kids can lead their own learning with a
How much
passion
did they have?
project. And let me tell you why I hated it so much. It's because 16-year-olds go, I don't care. I don't have passion about anything. Even the ones who do care about quite a bit, they get this like bee in their butt and they go, I don't care. I don't know. I don't know. I don't. And that is literally how they sound. And mind you, this is the age I've chosen to like work with. I love them. I don't know. I don't care. I just don't know what I'm passionate about. And I'm like, yes, you do. No, I don't. Okay, fine. So it's the same sort of a thing as an open-ended visual or writing prompt. We have to give parameters. The single most successful research projects I have ever had are still choose your own topic, but it's choose your own topic underneath this theme.
Yeah.
What is the
essential question?
Yes, it's what is the single greatest technological advancement known to humankind? What is the most compelling unsolved mystery? What is the folktale that's true? And then we brainstorm ideas. It's as simple as brainstorm the ideas all together up on the board. People write everything and choose from there. It's still scratching the itch of choose your own topic, but it's not just open.
Yep.
Yes.
Is there another spider in your office?
There is. Do you see me looking at it?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'm going to take care of it. You talk. I'm going to take care of the Spidey.
I will talk. I release you from your headphones to take care of the spider situation.
That's okay. My cable.
He's like waiting for it to land on her head. So I had to give her. Yeah. I'm with Marie on the research. So I think I'm a little bit more structured where I like to be a little bit more like put parameters around what they can and can't research. But all that is to say, I think it would be the most important part is connecting it to your EQ. The research should be serving a greater purpose. So yes, choose it under the parameters. My favorite way to think about research is what is the product going to be? What is the product that you want to get out of this research experience? Because if you want kids to write a research paper, you should not be doing that now. If you want kids to do research, but the product's not really that important to you,
Yeah.
I would think about doing a research seminar or a research debate. The kids are presenting. And if you need to grade some research skills, you grade them along the way, an annotated bib. You could do like one-on-one interviews with kids and like assess them and their research skills that way. But if you've never done a research debate, that has been universally the most successful way of doing anything research in my experience. So the way that we do a debate is that we choose under the umbrella of the EQ, these kind of subtopics, and then there is a pro team and a con team for each of those topics. And I assign kids roles and teams. So you're not just researching whatever. You are researching the pros for eating meat your whole life and never eating a vegetable, and the other team is researching the cons of never eating meat and only eating vegetables. There is a team leader, there are team researchers, and I usually have like a fun role, which I call the stakeholder. So it's like a character witness. And then I usually have like that leader does like the opening and the closing. My teams resemble a paper, an intro, body paragraphs,
Yeah.
a counter argument / fun little surprise guest. And then that team leader does the conclusion. And all they do is write a paper and they present it. That they don't think it's writing a paper.
No, it's like a mock trial. Yes.
It's a collaborative.
Yeah.
It's a collaborative paper. They each have their own section, which is basically a paragraph that would have gone into a paper.
It's the guts of a paragraph without having to be the actual, because the writing is the part that gets stuck half the time anyways. Yes.
100%.
Yes.
And right. And that's before AI, right? When I was doing that. So that's a battle that no one wants to fight ever, but especially not right now. So
true. That's cute. I like it.
I think assessing the quality of a research argument doesn't have to be always in writing. Or you can assess the outline. You can assess an annotated bib. You can assess a lot of things that are not a full-blown paper at this time of year.
Yeah.
So those are and then seminar kind of works the same way, but that would be like one big topic and kind of small groups of people are working different angles. Give them responsibilities. Like I think especially if your kids are not, even if your kids are on the AP track, if any kid benefits from specificity.
Yeah, I do.
So, you can still let them choose, right? Like you can say like, we're investigating this big, like I am dying to work on a project about what's going on at Colossal Labs. Have you been watching this stuff about the extinct wolf that they brought back from the grave by imitating genes, and they want to bring back the woolly mammoth? So, and like, it's
Jurassic Park.
A woolly mammoth should be walking the earth again in 2028.
Jurassic Park.
This is Jurassic Park. But like, kids will be all freaking over that.
That's true. That's terrifying.
It's terrifying. But like, in a research situation, right? Like, I think that then you as the teacher, you can break down ethics and responsibilities.
Right.
The other group can look at, right? Yeah. The other group can look at cost and taxes. The other group can look at, right, the research and engineering, whatever. So like you can totally I think sometimes teachers feel like they don't want to get in the way, but I think organizing things like that is just so helpful.
Yes, because
they actually want them to be.
Something like research is so big that you need to be able to give them something specific to research. And like, yes, you need to zoom in as much as you can. So, yeah. So, friends, before we go completely off the rails, because now Amanda and I need to write an end of the year week-long project for my students talking about woolly mammoths, we're going to do that off air.
I think everyone's going to want us to record that, though.
I think so, too. Hopefully, the end of the year is treating you as well as it can. Hopefully, as you're thinking about what you want to do at the end of the year, just remember, honestly, a lot of these things just take the planning. And once they're planned, you can coast a bit. So head to the show notes for a lot of these different, look at what we're talking about for the activities and let us know how it goes.
Seriously, let us know.
Let us know when we're all chit-chatting about our books at camp. How did it all go?
Fire.
I know. Around the proverbial campfire.
The proverbial fire, yes.
I'm very excited for that. But whatever you end up doing at the very end of the year, we hope that it is swift. We hope that it is as little drama as is humanly possible. And we cannot wait to see you at Camp BNT. Remember, bravenewteaching.com/camp. Join us for free. And we will hear all about it.
It's going to be good.
We'll trade horror stories, or we won't. We'll compartmentalize like sociopaths and we'll pretend it never happened. We'll just talk about books.
I've never done that.
Anyways, have a wonderful week at school. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Bye. Thanks again for listening to Brave New Teaching.
We'd love to keep the conversation going over on Instagram.
And while you're there, check out the links in our bio for the most up-to-date events going on in Happy Hour and the Brave New Teaching community.
Thanks for being here and have a great week at school.